More shotguns. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. At first glance, the gallery in 1991 is a pretty normal looking thing resting on a fantastically glowing cyborg arm. Terminator 2 references aplenty. It's punchy enough as a standard shotgun, putting enemies down in 1 or 2 shots with great enemy flinch and stagger animation rewarding each hit. We get 3 major upgrades. Semi-automatic is first up to dramatically improve the damage per second output. Now throw in 2 barrels per shot for good measure. The tight shot spread coupled with your rapid movement speed means you can choose to run in with the element of surprise or pick off enemies from afar. Why stop there? How about 4 barrels per shot? Just slap another 2 on the side there and you're good to go. It's brilliantly silly but feels so right in this piece of 80s inspired magic. But here's the catch, you're going to eat through ammo at such a rate you really need to think about what you're about to go up against and place each shot with more attention. Sure, 4 barrels and a quick rate of fire will make you an ultimate badass storming that base. For about 30 seconds anyway. But that risk-reward payoff is exactly how it should be.
I call shotgun. I'm here to kill. Any volunteers?
You can find your own mix to suit your playstyle, and my preference was to keep it at 2 semi-auto barrels with the flame rounds. Oh yes, you can unlock combustible rounds too. It makes an almighty mess of the place and it's glorious.
Liar, liar, face on fire.
Say some terrorist cyborgs are blocking your road, you just give them 2 of these.
Time to bring the thunder.
In fact, the fully upgraded shotgun can even take down one of those ferocious blood dragons terrorizing the map if you have the ammo handy. It's a weapon that does a great job at every turn in the game, from precise single shot grunt killer to a comprehensive weapon of mass destruction towards the end. The animation is wonderfully executed too, perfectly weighted and expressive. Particle effects are suitably nice too. With each barrel loadout, the sound effect of each shot is slightly different and always satisfying. Playing today in 4K 60, the whole environment is much clearer to see in a game that was probably a bit too heavy on 80s post-processing. I remember playing this at launch and being quite put off at how busy the screen looked. All of these effects now complement the action perfectly at a high resolution, especially when running and gunning with the shotgun. It's creative guns like these, made with passion by its developers, that reminds me why I play video games. Immense fun. Sanctum 2. Some nicer impact sound effects and damage skins on the enemies this time around that makes this shotgun feel more satisfying. Some enemies jib too, which is a must for the charge-up shots, but there's still no flinching when taking regular fire, which would have made this thing feel a lot more impactful than just seeing floaty numbers. It looks neat and is animated nicely again, with a better rate of fire this time, less of a tank. It's still nowhere near a proper FPS shotgun experience, but passable for a cartoony tower defense game. Rise of the Triad. Ludicrous Jibs requires a ludicrous shotgun. And this one doesn't disappoint. Practically a howitzer, it makes an absolute mess of enemies. It looks OTT, but in a good way. It has an LCD screen on it with text saying, "Think of the children." Something I only notice now after playing in 4K. The shot sound is suitably massive too. Oh, and think that's regular buckshot you're firing? Guess again. Those sneaky devs. You chamber 3 shots per reload with true semi-auto fire. Once you know this, you can budget your shots in a firefight to avoid getting caught out. Hitting someone point blank and seeing them rocket towards the other side of the room is hilarious in its absurdity, and that's what this weapon and game is all about. The alt fire is quite wonderful too. A hailstorm of staggered explosions creates your own personal jibs and fireworks show. Playing today in 4K 60 is a joy, with no bugs stifling the gameplay and the clarity of vision to keep up with this fast-paced shooter. Impacts on enemies are all about exploding your foes as fast as you can. And in this respect, it does a competent job, with good audio and visual cues when hitting an enemy. It all feels a little loose and unpolished, but it's a visceral thrill I'd be happy to play any day. Alien Rage. The shot sound is what will hit you first. Very unique, and its understated nature allows you to revel in the destruction it administers. You can really get a feel for slicing foes in two with this weapon, and I found myself happily addicted to it during my run. It's a shame the model looks way too busy, and really, it could be anything sitting in your hands. It's space junk ugly and has a messy electrical animated texture shell wrapped around it that makes me feel like I have persistent quad damage active. It does have a nice shot animation with moving parts that make up for this, although there's no reloading animation at all, which is a bit odd. The rate of fire is slow but well paced for the power you wield. One-shot kills are the order of the day up close, with other enemies taking a couple to go down, so time it well and get your angle just right for satisfying gunplay. It's a lot of fun putting groups of enemies down with this too. Enemies have great stagger animations, rewarding you for a hit and giving you enough time to land the killer blow. The projectile is a wide spread that's crafted with satisfying particle effects and glowing environment decals. It's really quite pretty, and the more I think about it, this gun behaves more like a railgun shotgun hybrid, which is a nice new feeling. Some objects in the world offer nice destructibility too that give this gun more gravitas. The alt fire ejects a slower moving orb of gravitational destruction. It's quite effective for cleaning out corridors or throwing enemies around in comical fashion until they pop. It's very nice, and if it doesn't kill the enemy, they will have been knocked over and take some time to get back up, so you'll be there waiting with a killer blast. Well-designed complementary fire modes, I like it. The shotgun points around the screen nicely too, leading your aim, which always feels better in faster-paced FPS games. However, the crosshair remains stationary at all times. Could have used a little nudging in all directions for the best feel, but I'm nitpicking now. It's a unique shotgun offering very good gunplay. The combat shotgun is functionally identical to the Vorus Blaster, just not as good. It's almost a straight up reskin of the previous design, but the setup doesn't match a traditional shotgun style, as you would expect a different kind of projectile. Its pump animation is jarring, and the alt fire is now a weird short-range energy blast. It doesn't really do much different to the normal shot, which is already capable of handling more than one enemy. The particle effect here is also clunky. Best stick with the Vorus Blaster. please consider supporting on Patreon.
I love it.